Hello and welcome to season 4 of Super Pros Bros. I'm player 1 Ike, and with me as always is
Player 2, Eli, and Bro Mama. This podcast is available on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spotify.
you know, I did not Robocop. Are those the same places they could?
Like,
Comment
share.
and subscribe.
It sure is.
Nifty Tom 50. So, in other important news updates, because this is a 24-hour blah 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 channel, what has been going on in your sector of the universe?
Not a fucking whole hell of a lot. I've been
we
just.
didn't record last weekend, right? So it's been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Say I have been drudging through old stuff that isn't mine and throwing it out in droves. It's been oh so fun, but there's a lot less stuff in my apartment now, which is nice. And since I'm planning to move, it will make that process much easier. I have, I don't know, been angry at this country for the last 2 weeks. just, goddamn. I don't need to go down that rabbit hole, but it just makes me sad. Yeah, and early, so like Friday, hung out with other Eli, and that was good and nice to see them not on a horribly depressing day because last time we hung out was last Tuesday, which is sad. Um, and I'm angry at my cats because they refuse to play with anything I have bought for them ever. I fucking hate it. I bought them like one of those window ledge things with like the suction
Why
cups.
won't you let me love you?
Dude, they get so much enjoyment out of a box, out of a fucking shoestring, out of whatever. But the second I pay for something, they're like, "This is fucking trash." Like I bought one of
It's
those
gotta
little
be
like
organic.
those little like window ledge things where like so they can suction cup. It's a little platform the cats can hang out on the window. I keep seeing people with them, and other people's cats love them, and I'm like, oh, this will be great. And so I buy one. They've yet to use it.
Why would they? They've got all they need.
Yeah, like to
Or
like
maybe
no,
by
just
not using it, they're using it to annoy the shit out of you? I
I
don't
guess like I'm just like I paid $30 for this thing. You fuckers use it, please. Like,
know.
god damn it, it is just more into the graveyard of things I try to buy my cats. They're like, yeah, but why? I'm like, God, you fuckers. Yeah, but that really has been my life lately. It's been pretty banal.
Fair. No, I'm sorry yours has been mono. Mine has been quite exciting. After our last recording, uh, went out till fucking a million in the morning playing a tournament so that my friend could finally qual to go to a tournament with us in Portland. Thank
Nice.
God. You ever been
Nice.
hoping for somebody at like in a competitive sport and watch them fuck up? It's the
Yes.
worst.
Right, kind of. Like I've watched people fuck up with League and it makes me sad, but
Yeah. So I'm sitting here. The tournament started late and was run so haphazardly by one poor schmuck
uh-huh.
that it's like we're in the finals of the tournament and it's like 11:30 p.m. Like it was a Friday night magic at Chuck's and Fallon circa like 2000. Just like Jesus. And my friend has the game, it's won, it's over. And then
Yeah.
he trips, falls, and makes 9 mistakes to lose in the game in the second game. And I had to just like sit in a corner face away from him. Because if I like watched another game where that happened, he was not getting driven home. He was getting driven to the fucking ground. So thankfully, he figured his shit out, won the third game, and we went out to go get Raisin Canes at fucking on my birthday, which was the next day because it was after midnight. Which, speaking of, had my birthday. I am now rightfully 37. I've been realizing for a hot minute that I've been referring to myself as 37 for like half the last year. Like preemanating this. It's kind of weird. But went out on an awesome birthday dinner with a bunch of homies, and it was lovely. Um, had then a very mediocre week. It was, it was a week. The following weekend had another 3-day weekend off. That was dope. Oh yeah, sorry. I said another mediocre week. Fucking Trump won the election and all that fucking shapoopery. So I got to hear a bunch of my coworkers relatively rightfully lose their fucking mind about how things are gonna suck. I don't disagree with them. I hope they can't see into the future and that it doesn't come out that way, but who's to say?
Bro, Matt Gaetz is fucking the nominee for AG. Good Christ.
Oh, there's just a lot of these nominations feel like this is proof that we're living in a simulation and somebody's trying to get the characters in the game to realize it's a simulation. It's amazing. The most unqualified cabinet in fucking US history, and it's like point to any other time
It's like
in
the most
history.
unqualified criminal corrupt cabinet ever.
Oh, yeah,
It's
it's amazing.
It's something.
Maybe it'll bring it all toppling down. Who knows? Any which way. That happened. This last weekend, I awesomely did fuck all. It's been like the first time I just like basically left the house. I left the house like I was gonna go on a date Saturday. It got moved to Friday. It was a good date. We realized we weren't like kind of about each other. Moved on. Monday I had another date. Maybe we're about each other. Either way, I introduced him to some dope food, which I have to say that might be one of my biggest kinks is introducing people to like new food and having them enjoy it or be like I've never had this before and like blow their mind. Oh my god. I could do that for the rest of my life instead of having an orgasm and I would be completely fulfilled. That is the best feeling. Is somebody eating food that you're like, "Hey, you should try this out." And they're like either kind of like, "Okay," or like, I don't know. And you're like, "No, no, trust me." And they're like, "Okay." And they take a bite and they look at you like, "Oh, oh, oh." Like that's the fucking best. There's nothing better than that I've experienced so far. So that was tops. Hopefully going on a date with them this Tuesday. Their parents were in town this last week and they all are also in education. Uh I've been going dates today. I'm back. I'm going back hard in the dating game and I'm kind of enjoying it even though I kind of got burned last time. So I'm just realizing the gamification that my brain is taking in on this and that it kind of is somewhat enjoyable in this weird kind of like roguelite die. You're building up skills of interaction and understanding yourself and understanding
Never
other
thought of
people.
dating as a roguelite, but there is some truth to it.
It kind of is,
I
right?
didn't say you're wrong. I just said I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah, but like I mean, I had that realization. I was like, it's kind of like it plays out like a roguelite does. It's just like you get used to just dying a lot and losing and then starting over and like doing small like finding small joys in the process and building your character up that is you. It's kind of awesome. A little more expensive than most roguelites, but tease what I tease. I think I might start uh introducing this aspect before almost all of the last dates I've been on. I've done like phone dates where I just like chatted with the person, which I just love to do anyway, so it's a good litmus test for that. And holy fuck, Thursday was the best. I met the person, like, look, I don't blame anybody for being like, man, this election sucks. Oh my god, I'm worried. I get it. But this person took that to a whole nother nihilistic art form. It was so amazing how much they were done with everything. And it wasn't all election based, but I think it was all election driven how they felt. But holy fuck. At one point they said unironically, these fucking breeders like that with that like that intonation. And just blaming the ills on people who dare to have children. Which look, I'm very unlikely to have kids. It's not something that's high on my priority list. I like my freedom. I like my lack of responsibility. I
Sure.
don't want to have that kind of pressure at this moment in time. Not impossible, but quite unlikely. That
Sure.
being said, to to malign them as a whole group for having the audacity of furthering our
Yeah, I
species.
I I always question when people fucking like rail against people with kids. I'm like, where do you think you came from? How do you think you ended up here? I gotta ask. Like, of all fucking dumb takes to have,
Their eyes turn red. You're like, oh shit.
listen, if they could just be like, I'm an alien, be like, fair enough, keep hating. But like, if not, if you got 46 chromosomes, shut the fuck up. Like,
So they went off on that and a bunch of their nihilistic rants, and it was a good reminder of how much I've changed a bit, because I didn't used to be that bad. Not to like, oh, holier than thou, but it's pretty easy to be holier than that.
sure.
But I definitely remember points in time where I was like kind of hating things was cool, and like that was to show solidarity, was hate things with people. It's
Uh-huh.
like, nah. The essence of togetherness is loving the same things, not hating the same things. It's enjoyable to hate the same things, but like it doesn't
It's
build
not. It
anything.
doesn't help long term. It's very
No,
fleeting.
it's a dessert or like an appetizer. It is not the main course. It is not what needs to be there. It's an additive. And holy crow. The best part is, so they went off on breeders and a bunch of other nihilistic bullshit. Also about how they were smarter than half the population. They're like, I'm not saying I'm a genius. I'm saying half the population is literally retarded. I was like, okay.
That
Like, I
no,
love everything about what you said in that you're a fucking moron.
that's no. That retardation, literally, no. That
Yeah,
that means it's set
everything
apart.
about that is no.
Just
There's nothing to find. Like the whole entire thing is a typo. There's no part of it that needs to remain in the document. Fucking shred it and start again, you dumb bitch. Like it's you're so wrong and conceited and malicious and fuck you. And the best part though is at the end of this, and I was kind of like having fun with it because at a certain point I was like, well, this is the only time I'm talking to this person. So like, and not being mean, but just kind of poking fun at their absurd aggression. And at the
yeah,
end, they're like, well, you know, you have my number, so don't abuse it. In my mind, I'm like, don't
no
worry.
problem.
It's never getting entered in my phone ever a fucking again. I will do the opposite of abuse. Or maybe a different form of abuse in that I will never give it the attention ever again.
I mean, negligence is a form of abuse, I suppose.
Yes. So that was Thursday. Friday, I went on a very nice date with a massage therapist. It was lovely. Walked around. That one's, I think it's gonna, got 2 repeat dates. We even went on a phone date last night, which holy crap. They there was nothing this person did at like a 6. Everything was like a 10. They're like, yeah, I go on like 7 to 8 hour hikes. I'm like, it's a long fucking time. They're like, I'll spend like a weekend working at a soup kitchen. I'm like, that's also a long fucking time. It's like everything was like, I do this for a day. I was like, man, you're intense. And they're like, yeah, sometimes I'll watch TV. And when I do, I'll watch a whole entire show start to finish. I'm like, is there anything you do at like a 4? Like when you use the bathroom, is it on the moon? Like what the fuck?
They
It
they
was
use the bathroom
awesome.
once a week, but it is an ordeal.
Yeah, but it's for 8 hours. I was like, all right, calm down. Very nice person, but very much just like, I don't think so, Tim. Uh, other than that, lost the video. Oh, sorry. I can't look over this amazing thing that happened with me at work the other day. I'm not going to say who this was, because I do know a couple. I found out one of my students and a couple of my colleagues may occasionally pay attention to this. So there was a student at school. I'm not going to say his. I'll say he's a male, but other than that, nothing. And I'm working with him on an assignment. This kid is woefully far behind in their studies and needs help, as most students do at this place, honestly.
Sure.
But especially, this is, he hasn't done the first biology homework packet, and we're like nearing Christmas. To say he's behind is to put it mildly. So working with him on it, and he's being out of pocket about a bunch of shit, which is kind of part and parcel with the place, and it's fine. It kind of makes life humorous. I love it. As much as it is annoying, I also kind of love it the same way. You know, you roll your eyes and smirk all at the same time. And we finish a section. I'm like, cool, we're like almost done. He's like, all right, hey, can I use the bathroom? I was like, of course. And like, when you come back, we'll do this. He goes, okay. He stands up, looks me dead in my eyes, and goes, good boy. Now,
What?
I've never been, I've never had those words said to me like that before. And I've also never wanted to strike a child before.
What the
fuck? Let's leave it at that. I'm like, yeah, bro, don't ever say that to me again. He takes 2 steps, opens the door, looks back at me, and reiterates it with even more vim and vigor. Like, my guy, chill the fuck out. Especially considering he's somebody that kind of sees himself as thug, which makes it very emphatic of what kind of information he's trying to belie to me. And also the fact that if somebody said this to him, it would be fight on sight. So I'm like, my guy, what are you, I am 2 of you in most directions. Like, what are you doing? So that happened. Also, in this last week, I didn't send this one to you yet. I'm realizing it is one of my favorites. Is I'm going over a history packet with a different student who decided to not be a complete punk ass and disrespect me in such fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going through it, and we're just like writing stuff down, and out of nowhere, we are in like World War II-ish areas. He goes, "Is it true Hitler killed himself?" I was like, "Yeah, they, looked it up to make sure. Yeah, when the Russians were closing in, he and Eva Braun committed suicide. He like shot himself." And he's just like, he goes, "Wait, so he killed himself?" I go, "Yeah, shot himself in the face." He goes, "Wow, what a sore loser." with no sarcasm, just 100% sincerity.
I mean,
wow, what a sore loser.
I mean, he's 100% right.
Like, it's the funniest response I've heard to Hitler shot himself in the face. Wow, what a sore loser.
What a bitch.
Well, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have people that didn't make it to the end of their respective story, or did, depending upon how you look at it. However, they were not a sore loser. They were a hard motherfucking winner. So today, Eli, what are we talking about?
That's an interesting transition. We are talking about heroic sacrifices in fiction and storytelling for the most part. Where people, they know it's fucked. It's pretty GG, but they're gonna go down swinging. So, because someone's got to pay the high price, and they're taking it upon themselves to be them.
And in some of these cases, if they're taking it, so are you.
Yeah. Would you like to start us off?
Spoilers for Mass Effect and 20 minutes and 16 seconds.
So the first up one, it's a bit of a lark for me because I have not played the game. However, I came across the scene and it was tremendous. I've heard nothing but positive things about it, and this is the series Mass Effect. So, also, heads up, a lot of these are spoilers to
these are massive
degrees.
Spoilers. They involve oftentimes main or semi-main characters dying. Deal with
and
that.
Usually the end part of a movie or TV show.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 3, The Death of Mordin. So Mordin is part of your crew. You are sent to a facility to deal with a hibbity-dobbity-doo. And in which doing so, somebody needs to physically go up to the top of this building that is in the process of combusting to change a part of coding to save a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Mordin is one of the only people that is able to do it and takes it upon himself to do it, all the while singing
Modern Major General.
Like the complete lovely Chad he is. And yeah, a lot of these just, I don't think we're going to stick in because we've got a lot of these to go through. So I'm not going to make 18, or maybe I will. Who knows? Check below and see if I got off my ass and included a shit ton of links to these moments. What you got up next, bro?
Spoilers for Fellowship of the Ring end at 21 minutes and 49 seconds.
A classic. We have Boromir's last stand in Fellowship of the Ring. Because wow, that guy sucks for most of the movie, but damn if he doesn't die like a hero.
Sean Bean, you
Sean
know
Bean
how to do it.
Dying? No, say it ain't so. But yeah, I mean, in his kind of moment of clarity, uninfluenced by the ring, like Boromir recognizes he is fucked up by driving away Frodo. As he's trying to fix it as best he can, protecting Sam and Pippin. And damn does he try.
To say he goes down swinging is to put it quite literally.
Yeah. I mean, he isn't dead after 4 arrows to the chest. Like, he still lives for a while.
Yeah. Boy had it all and gave it all.
Yeah. He left nothing hanging out. God bless. And I think he gets kind of one of the best redeeming send-offs with like his final talk to Aragorn.
Yeah. My brother, my king.
My captain, my king. Yeah.
That speech is one for the ages. And just Sean Bean, you fucking magnificent motherfucker.
Amen.
Spoilers for Naruto end at 26 minutes and 46 seconds.
Next up, we have one of the only ones on here I know of that doesn't. It's one of the few on here that doesn't result in death when it very much seems like it must. So, I got hooked on Naruto late in high school, and one of the characters, well, I wasn't like a fan of his. He seemed classically troped fat guy.
Sure.
I always kind of understood Choji because he's like just busting open snacks to remain rotund as it is part of his like kind of power setup.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, that's a cool like character design thing. Also, you get it. Sad fat boy trying to be a dude. Yeah, I got it. So in the post Chunin exam arc, Sasuke decides to be a freaking twerp and go off and do something stupid. His friends and cohorts try to go save him. In doing so, they run across a bunch of bad guy ninjas that they have to fight, which odd that children who aren't even Chunins are fighting against adults that have like rigged power systems, but sure.
Like, it's neither here nor there, but moving on.
if that's a deal breaker, don't watch that anime because it only goes up from there. But Choji's power system has this like super weapon that of course comes in the form of like an edible, and it has 3 different little bites. The first one makes you, I'm trying to remember what it exactly does. I think the second one makes you really, really big.
I think the second one makes you really huge.
I try to remember what the first one does because I know what the last one does, but I don't remember quite what the first one does. Maybe it just gives you like a power up or something like that. But it's a 3 pill system. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's just 2. But he's fighting this guy that is outside of his league. But the person who is running the operation is his best friend, and arguably one of his only friends. And it means a lot to him, and he doesn't want to let him down. So he takes the first pill, takes the second pill. Other guy has this like super evil power up thing that gives him tattoos all over his face and shit, and starts wholesale whooping his ass. And Choji is forced to take the last pill, and you're like, all right, last pill, whatever. Well, so the last pill hyper accentuates your metabolism. So you've gotten really, really big, you've got all this mass. Well, your body starts to eat itself effectively at a like 1,000% rate. And so it gives you all this power, but for a very small amount of time, and then your body ceases to have mass to do that with. And you fucking die. And he knows this, and has the moment where he has to do it, or decides that, not gonna let my friend down. I'm gonna be a fucking metal ass ninja. Let's fucking go. Takes it. Also, the guy to rub in his face eats his last chip in front of him, which is a big non-starter for Choji because he's such a fat boy.
You don't take the fat man snacks. That's
Yeah,
just
the last chip is a very sacred
it's a
thing to
big
him,
faux
which
pas.
I respect that. The last chip fucking matters. Takes his last pill, gets butterfly wings, which is adorable, and then has a carryover, which makes it beautifully sad. Wholesale beats this guy's ass in the most kind of didn't know who you were fucking with moment, which is rad. He's just going around supersonic with butterfly wings and just fucking annihilating this guy who has been a dick the whole time. Because bad guy. And then as his body starts to get even more as he as the lights start to go out, he lays underneath a tree and remembers the first interaction with Shikamaru, which is his best friend, and his butterfly wings start to break up into small ones and go out into the world. And one of them catches up to Shikamaru and has this moment of realizing he has a mission to do, but his friend is dead. Or so he thinks. Thankfully, didn't kill the character. Slight happiness note. But in that moment, you kind of fucking think so. Anyway, I need to wipe my eyes because I'm definitely not crying right now. Eli, take it away.
Spoilers for The Expanse end at 30 minutes and 12 seconds.
It is no secret, I love The Expanse. I think it is probably my favorite sci-fi series ever. And it'll be hard to knock it off that spot. And Bobby Draper is an awesome addition to the main cast of the Rasanade. And Bobby Draper is this giant fucking Martian marine. She's she's described as she's this 7 foot tall Samoan woman. And the first book she shows up, she ends up kind of as the military attaché for this tiny Indian politician who gets pissed that she is so tall. She's like, sit the fuck down so I could talk to you. Yeah, her description is it's where people were made like mountains. Yeah, and Bobby Draper she wholesale fucks people up in this series. The only other kind of badass is Amos, and when Holden asks Amos, he's like, "Can you fight her?" He's like, "No." He's like, "I am what you would call a qualified amateur, a good amateur. She is a professional. It ain't the same game." Well, when shit goes to fucking hell in a handbasket, people make effectively juiced alien technology. It's like what happens if scientific progress has no brakes put on it. Mm-hmm. And so people rock out of one of the portals to other systems called the Laconian system. And they basically have a ship that can't be stopped. There is a book where it's just kind of this inevitability of it's flying at Earth. And it's like, you can't kill us. They hit it with a nuke. They literally nuke this thing and it doesn't die. Whereas every other ship, if you hit it with a nuke, it turns to dust because it's a nuke. They hit it with a nuke and it's just glowing. It just kind of soaks up the radiation and eats the kinetic force and says, okay, sure, now what? And so the guy driving it just calls and he's like, I will kill all of you if I get there. You can't stop me. I just proved it. And so they go, shit.
Fuck.
Yeah, so they lead, but people don't go down quietly, so they lead a resistance, and Bobby Draper is one of the people leading it. And they find a way to kill these things because they run on antimatter. Antimatter is really unstable and really powerful. So she basically puts it on the tip of a torpedo. Except there is a failing, there's a machine failing, and they can't fire it, so she says, fuck it, and puts on her power armor one more time, and flies it into the side of a ship.
Goddamn right.
She just crashes herself in and manually detonates it. It then ceases to exist because basically it would wipe out a small moon. She just Valkyries over and slam dunks a bomb. God damn. Bobby Draper might have the most badass death of all people ever. Like, Jesus Christ. Anyways.
Spoilers for Star Wars The Last Jedi end at 34 minutes and 50 seconds.
Good.
Next up, we
Full
have
half-hour.
a great scene in a mediocre at best movie by one of my favorite directors. Star Wars The Last Jedi is not it.
It's not.
I love you, Ryan Johnson. This movie was not for me, and most people I know. Doesn't make it bad, just makes it not to our liking.
I'll say it. It wasn't good.
Listen, I want to be friends with Ryan Johnson. He seems cool, okay?
Well, you
Let me
can
suck up to
disown
him a
me
little
when it
bit.
comes time.
So, however, there is one fucking badass awesome scene that you can say what you want about the movie. It's not all bad because this scene
This scene does
fucks.
spank.
So I think it's Admiral Holdo, played by Laura Linney. Or no, not Laura Linney. Crap.
Uh-oh.
I know who it is. Hold on. Look.
Oh, that noise.
Da, 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 pow, pow, pow. Laura Dern. Starts with an L. She's awesome. I don't know. They're both great. So Laura Dern playing Admiral Holdo? Vice Admiral Holdo. That was really close.
Yeah.
Is they have engineered this awesome situation. I will give them credit for that also. The situation is awesome, where they have effectively convinced the Empire that we're fleeing and we're just going to like use our shield to block for like it's kind of this like bad long it's like time escape strategy of we're gonna like go this way and use our shield, and they just keep shooting at the shield, eventually kind of wearing it down. The trick of it is that they are loading people into escape pods and ships and cloaking them and sending them out, and so this is a like long distraction.
Yeah.
And either eventually everybody's gonna get out, or the captain's gonna go down with the ship or something like that. But it's this maneuver that is going to save everybody when they are drastically outgunned and do not stand a chance. You know, they tried their like assault attempt or whatever in the beginning. Also, that scene does kind of fucking bang. It's a little weird in a couple of the circumstances, but by and large, pretty fucking cool scene. So they're going along, and then the Empire figures out what's going on. Partially because the information gets leaked through, I think it's like the weird ass dumb thing that happens on the planet where there's like a casino or whatever.
Yeah.
Which fuck that storyline is not ideal.
It also doesn't make sense how they get back so fast.
Yeah, a lot of problems with that one.
There's a lot of problems with that.
However, so they figure out, you know, hey, what's actually happening is not happening. Empire goes, all right, fine, we're gonna shoot over here where the ships are. Holdo goes, not on my fucking watch. Solo Bolo turns around the fucking their huge ship and kind of like Eli's last entry, does it like a missile. And just the sound design is what gets me on this scene. They just turn the ship around and they put it into like light speed, except they're pointed at something. So they become a, you know, couple mile long bullet. Just like send themselves through it. And correctly, as it is space, there is no sound. So you get the imagery and the visuals and the sound of being in the cockpit, you know, throwing it into hyperspace, and that whoop, and then it cuts to the wide and there's nothing because you're in fucking space, which is exactly what would happen. So sound in space. And it just goes through the freaking Superstar Destroyer. Oh,
yeah, it is awesome.
Banger. Wish the rest of the movie was awesome. Thank you for that dope scene, Laura Dern and Ryan Johnson. Next.
Spoilers for Hunter x Hunter end at 38 minutes and 52 seconds.
I like Hunter x Hunter. I like it a lot. I wish the fucking mangaka didn't just randomly take sabbaticals. Whatever. But one of the longest arcs is the Chimera Ant arc, and it culminates with a showdown between probably the two strongest people who are ever on screen, with Meruem and Netero. And you keep hearing about how Netero is just such a badass, and you never see him really fight. And this is the first and only time you ever get to see him fight.
Yeah, you see him like play around with the two kids.
Yeah, he plays around, but like everybody just has this reverence for him. They're like, nah, he is him. I'm like, okay, like goddamn. And Meruem like kind of kicks the shit out of him because Meruem is just busted and basically a walking cheat code. Who is effectively anything that would kill other people, he just kind of can tank.
Yeah.
And like he rips off Netero's leg, and he's like, "The fight's over." He's like, "I respect you, but this fight's done." He goes, "Fuck no, it's not." And Netero just flexes his thigh and cuts off the bleeding. He tourniquets himself with his own muscle. I don't need to describe why that's not medically feasible, but it's awesome. He then gets an arm. His whole thing is like praying too, to like. He basically prays and conjures a telekinetic hand to slap something, which is dope. And so Meruem cuts off a hand, or takes an arm off, and he's like, "Okay, we're done." He's like, "I don't need two arms to pray." Like, I didn't hear no bell, and then just blast it. Like his kind of ultimate trump is he blasts it with this big wave of energy, essentially, and that kills everyone else. And so Netero's out of cards. He's like, okay, and Meruem gets up. He's like, "Fuck me, that's impressive, but not good enough." And he goes, "Okay, little ant." He rigged himself with a bomb just in case he couldn't.
Also, like, he says the line, he's just like, he kind of shits on humanity, right? Like, when he gets up, he goes, like, "You tried, but, like ants are better than humans."
He's
or
like,
whatever.
"Yeah, basically, you're beneath me."
Yeah. "Look, you tried, but you are a rung below." He's like, oh, little ant.
Okay. And I like that the only reason they're willing to fight, or that Meruem's even indulging him, is because Meruem doesn't know his name yet. He's just the king.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that's like the bait Netero gives him. He's like, "I'll tell you your name." He's like, "Oh, little ant, you have so much to learn, Meruem," and stabs himself in the chest with 2 fingers and just smiles. It's like, oh, holy
Smiles
shit.
a very unsettling smile for the record.
It is frightening. Because he's rigged himself with a bomb, just in case he loses. Because he's like, this is more important. So he has a bomb implanted in his chest. That's like, it basically is a dirty bomb, so it will poison Meruem.
And all of
and anything close by. Like, and it does exactly that. Just, yeah. Boom. Like, oh my god. Yeah, absolute fucking Giga Chad. And that smile is so frightening. I don't know who animated that, but they need help. Some fucking Junji Ito shit.
Spoilers for Wreck-It Ralph end at 41 minutes and 50 seconds.
So next up, something a little bit more G-rated, although still a cartoon.
Oh god, I know it's coming.
I, as stated on this podcast multiple times, love Wreck-It Ralph. It is one of my favorite Disney movies ever, is one of my favorite cartoon movies ever. It's fantastic.
That's great.
And as hokey as it is when described in layman's terms, the ending scene to Wreck-It Ralph is so fucking metal. Going in and realizing the error of his ways and what he has kind of created and to fix the issue, which I really do love, that even though it was done unintentionally, is a problem that he still and correctly feels the need to fix. A lot of times in movies, a character will make a mistake and they kind of get let go of it in G-rated, especially animated movies, of like, oh, it's fine, you made a mistake, and they're either forgiven for their transgression or whatever.
Yeah.
But this one takes on a life of its own, and I think correctly so. It's a great, example of innocent mistakes are still mistakes that can come back to bite you.
Yep.
And he now has to solve this issue, which is he has introduced something outside of the game to the game that is parasitic, and there's this huge problem, especially now that it's melded with this villainy that is Turbo. And so to save the rest of the video game systems, because this is going to go outside of that one game and potentially pollute all the others, he goes to blow up the game by detonating the volcano with all of its Mentos. Which again, hokey as shit. And also the speech, hokey as shit. But because it's written so well, and I think we've talked about this before,
Yeah.
you can have a situation, this is something anime does better than most. You can have a situation that is cartoonishly absurd, but if the characters take it seriously, and if they have done a good job storytelling and you are bought in as a viewer, it doesn't fucking matter.
It does
So
not.
every time when Wreck-It Ralph jumps from the top of the fucking volcano and starts quoting the villain's oath or the bad guy's oath while holding on to this fucking medal he got from another game, I fucking bawl. I am not a bad guy. Gets me every fucking time.
Okay, I'm gonna move on before I start crying too. All right, God, see, God, that in the car. Fucking damn it. All right. Okay.
Spoilers for Angel Beats ends at 44 minutes and 30 seconds.
So the show Angel Beats is fucking deceptive. It starts and it's just kind of weird, goofy high school comedy nonsense. But this kind of weird underlying thing of what the fuck are we doing here? Well, it turns out it's the fucking afterlife. And it's this weird kind of happy purgatory for kids who died and basically need to get a chance to experience childhood before moving on.
Jesus.
Uh-huh. We're not done.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. The main character doesn't have his memories the whole time. And then he finally gets them back and remembers how he died.
No.
He got stuck in like basically a cave-in with a bunch of other people.
No.
And he tried to be the responsible one after like getting his life back together, basically, because he was a depressed sad sack.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like helping meter out food, water, and like trying to basically keep everything afloat until rescue comes for like 7 other people. And like people fuck it up, and so there's not enough food and not enough water, and he's like, I'm like the youngest person here, or like I'm the most like well-off person here. I'll take it. It's fine. And he ends up dying as people like he ends up starving to death and dehydrating as people start finding them. The reason that he gets his memory back is because he takes a nap and like lays his head on someone, and they are the person that received his heart because he was an organ donor.
Oh.
It's like, oh my god. So it's not the most dramatic sacrifice, but it's just like, oh damn. Like he was willing to give it all to people because he was trying to be better. And that was his whole motivation, is I have to be better.
Yeah.
And so he was, and it cost him. But it gave so much to other people. Yeah, that show is so deceptive. You are not prepared when you start watching it.
Spoilers for Big Hero 6 end at 49 minutes and 14 seconds.
So, Big Hero 6 is another one of those bangers that came out shortly after Wreck-It Ralph, I believe is... Yeah, Baymax is Disney, right? They have fucking Stan Lee in it. They've gotta be.
Yeah.
So, I think it's like one of the few animated technically MCU movies, although it's not like really ever integrated.
Yeah.
It is technically in that like sort semi-universe. And Big Hero 6 is great, has the, the kind of early death to make somebody become a hero. And it's very understandable at all points why the main character is doing what he's doing and how he's doing it. And to see his growth throughout, especially with the installation of this adorable soft voice medical robot who his brother made, and then he kind of tries to like weaponize a little bit to revenge his brother.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of gets out of that phase, understandably so, of like wanting vengeance, and now he just wants like to do the right thing. Through a weird series of events, one character has gotten stuck in this other zone, and they have the opportunity to go and save her. Main character and what's the main character's name? You remember?
Isn't it just Hero?
Yeah, Hero. You're absolutely right. So it's Hero and Baymax go into this other zone using like their awesome technology to go save this girl. Upon getting out, the portal starts to close too fast and they don't have enough momentum. Or the engine on their thing stops working. So to get out, Baymax uses his glove that he can auto propel as a rocket for Hero to get out. However, in doing so, Baymax kind of has to stay behind. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You need something to push off of, and the glove comes off of him. Physics.
Yep.
And they have done this so well in the movie. Upon introduction to the character Baymax, who is again a hospital robot, you're introduced to him, meet him, and
Are you qualified with your care?
are you satisfied with your
satisfied?
service? And every time to make him like kind of go away or like to end the interaction with him, you have to tell him, because he's collecting data because he wants to be a better, healthcare robot. You have to, say you're satisfied or say not why or whichever. And they've set this up and it's been annoying. It's been annoying. It's been annoying. It's been annoying. It's sweet. It makes sense, but it's been annoying.
Yeah.
And in this last scene, he was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. You can't make me go. And he goes, are you satisfied with your service? Like, God damn it. No, I'm not satisfied at all. And Hero has the same reaction. He just doesn't want to go, knows it's the right thing, but doesn't want to go. And that, I think, is where he really becomes a hero, is doing the thing that needs to be done even when he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Having the right thing be kind of seeing it his brother's way, because his brother, he didn't really like that his brother went back in to save somebody and died. It never really sat right with him, and now he sees the cost, even again being that person.
Yep.
Thank God you get to have a happy moment afterwards of realizing that Baymax, the cheeky little bastard, put his like coding stick or all of his data in a drive inside of it, the fist that he rocket propelled Hero out of like the weird zone with.
Mm-hmm.
But whoo boy, for that next like 5-10 minutes. Ah! Definitely a good realization point that you and the person you're on a date with aren't compatible is when you start crying at that and they look at you and go, what's wrong? Like, this is sad as fuck.
I have a heart. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. Next.
Spoilers for Mob Psycho 100 end at 53 minutes.
I love Mob Psycho 100. Show is great. There was a YouTuber that did a breakdown of it, and so much of the bad guys. I love his evaluation. So many of the bad guys are made to realize, wow, I'm just a dickhead with magic. But it's such a fun take on having a super OP character who doesn't want to be, or like he's trying to make himself be normal to be actually a better person. Anyway, Dimple is one of the hilarious kind of side character additions from the start, who is he's a fucking spirit who just kind of possesses people and gets power based off attention. And so the more people he can get attention from, more powerful he gets. That's why, like, at the beginning, he's kind of running a small cult. So in the last season, there is this big fucking head of broccoli. Hilarious. And so he kind of takes advantage of it because it has so much attention that he effectively turns it and weaponizes it for himself. So he has a whole city's attention, which basically makes him God. He gets super juiced, funneling power through it into him. And so Mom goes, that's not okay. This is bad. You were brainwashing people. You got to quit this. And so he goes to confront Dimple, but tries to do it non-violently and lets his power go. He goes, okay, I can't fight you anymore. Let's talk. Like, he trusts him enough to make himself vulnerable. And Dimple just kind of has that realization of, oh, I'm just a dickhead with magic. The problem is that the broccoli he's been channeling it through has started taking on a life of its own. And it sees Bob and goes, oh, that's a lot of power. I'm going to take that. And Dimple goes, no, you can't. And it goes, fuck you, yes I can. And it just keeps it has so much power, Dimple can't kill it. And so the last thing Dimple does is he gives this suggestion to Mob, and he just says, you need to walk away. Go home. And Mob just says, are you sure? He's, yep, it's fine. Just go home. And so you see what Mob sees, which is just Dimple as his usual self. And in truth, it's like his new body is battered, broken, and behind him is the small army waiting to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mob just turns around and leaves. And the last thing Dimple does is he flies the broccoli away from the city so it can't continue to hunt Mob. And his Mob has like a moment of recollection or like kind of epiphany as he goes home. He just says, thank you, Dimple, and starts crying. Aww. And it fucked me up. It is so sad because Dimple is unapologetically greedy. And he just does that one moment where he's like, wow, this is really a much better thing to want. And I fucked it up.
Spoilers for Train to Busan end at 56 minutes and 18 seconds.
So to bring it back to IRL land, we have the just lovely family-filled fun experience that is Train to Busan. Banger. If you want some zombies of a less American English-speaking nature, this one is probably the tops. I can't think of anyone that's better.
No, it's so good.
In this movie, you've got a bunch of different kind of character pockets, as we are just, it is a train just going to Busan, and shit gets really messed up. And you have this awesome couple that I'm trying to find them. We've got, where's the other one? She's like the main, right? So you've got Sanghwa, played by Mong Don-seok, and I'm trying to find who his partner is, but I am bad at reading Korean. So his partner is a delightful woman who's pregnant? Very pregnant, that's right. And so not exactly having the best time with all these zombies on this motherfucking train. And he is being an awesome Chadley husband and just protecting the fuck out of her and just being the beefcake that Ma Dong-seok is. If you look up that guy in every movie he's in, he's got guns and he knows how to fire them. And I don't mean firearms because they're illegal in Asia. I mean those fucking biceps.
Dude is absolutely yoked.
Cut! And but is also the sweetest guy and taking very sweet, loving care of his wife and being very genteel.
He is the epitome of a teddy bear.
He is awesome. Just
It's
full.
it's wonderful.
It's adorably sweet and also kind of scary.
Yeah, that man has the switch and can flick it on, and you see it.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
And it comes down to this final scene where they need to, I think they need to push from one car to the other, and they need a couple guys to, I mean, maybe they could survive. They all know that they can't, but maybe. And he just like rallies up, gets like, I don't remember if he gets a bat or like puts things on his, like puts spikes on his arms or something like that.
He like covers his arms in magazines to make it harder to bite him.
Yes. Okay, that's what it is. And then he's just going to go full Rocky Balboa on these bitches. And man, his last lines are what his wife should name their kid, which she's kind of been pestering him about the whole entire time. And it's very, very sweet that he's like, this is what we should name the kid. And then goes out and just fucking does. Thankfully, she's one of the only characters that fucking laughs in the movie. So you get to have some kind of happiness conversion.
Yeah.
Senwa, please be my post-apocalyptic daddy.
Amen.
Next.
Spoilers for Inside Out end at 1 hour and 52 seconds.
Inside Out is I still haven't seen the second one, but I've heard pretty good things. But I really enjoyed Inside Out. Holy shit, did Pixar continue to wage emotional warfare with Bing Bong. The old memory and imaginary friend of, I don't remember the actual name of the girl, but he's been languishing in the lost memories, and he needs to escape. Like, Joy needs to get out because she's a core emotion, and you really shouldn't forget how to have joy. And they keep trying to ride a tricycle up the ramp, and they're not quite getting enough airtime. And he just has this little dour look and he says, Joy, try it one more time. Even though she's convinced it can't work. He says, just try it one more time. And she goes, and he jumps off. Even though he knows he's going to be forgotten, he knows that she is more important for the kid. She has to keep existing. Joy is something you need to have.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's his final line to her?
I don't remember. Help.
Believe. It's like, take her to the moon for me, okay?
Oh, right.
Because that's what they were always going to do together. Because he's her imaginary friend, and of course they could go to the moon on, his little rinky-dink sled or whatever. In fact, I'm IRL all the way down at this point. Ha ha ha. We've got Denzel Washington's magnificent journey to, for lack of a better term, getting even. And not with somebody, but with the way he feels like he's affected the world. It's never said implicitly, but if you've ever seen Man on Fire, you can kind of see that he's got a chip on his shoulder, a debt that he believes he owes. And in this movie, he finally gets to exact that debt by saving, I believe it's Dakota Fanning, from a life that she did not deserve of her father, kind of selling his daughter through a weird way so that his wife wouldn't find out. So he goes and fucking just torches the countryside of Mexico to get his daughter back. Or not his daughter, but so he's the bodyguard for her because they live in Mexico. She's a rich white girl. And the husband just didn't think he would be so awesome at his job. And he is. So he goes and gets her back after she was captured. But to do so makes a trade. And it's him. He's the trade. So that they can get even for all the fucking dozens of guys he has blown the fuck up Literally and not so literally. If you ever wondered where they got the idea for that scene in Archer where they stick a grenade up somebody's ass, it's that movie. Grenades up butts, gentlemen.
Archer.
Yeah, and Archer in like season 2 when he has cancer, he like goes to the Irish card game,
Oh, okay.
and there's like a grenade up some guy's ass. That's like a 1-to-1 from Man on Fire.
Gotcha.
He's like questioning a guy, and he's just like, "It's a grenade." I think in this case it's actually a plastic explosive, but he has an explosive up a guy's ass. It like gets what he wants, and the guy's just like, "All right, so you're gonna take this out of me?" He goes, "No, I got someplace to be." Just like leaves him. He's like, "Don't move around too much now." Just like a block later, you see the car explode in the background.
God.
All right. Next up,
I have another IRL mention, I suppose.
Spoilers for Gran Torino end at 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 30 seconds.
Gran Torino has a phenomenal ending and kind of an awesome character growth for Walt Kowalski, who is super racist. And
I feel like that was part of the pitch to Clint Eastwood.
yeah, like,
You know all those words you weren't supposed to say the last 50 years?
Do you want to say a bunch of slurs about Asians? Go on.
And the occasional Eastern European.
Yeah, Walt Kowalski is a jaded motherfucker. Made all the worse by he hates his family. His wife just died. He's got nothing to live for. He's basically just waiting to die. And it is kind of turned on its head when he just kind of by force has shit, I don't remember the kid's name. Thao.
Wasn't that far off?
So when Thao is yeah. So when Thao is they try to like steal his car and Walt basically walks at a bunch of fucking hooligans with a gun and they go, "Oh shit," and panic.
And $1,000.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it gives it the classic line, "Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn."
God bless. He is forced to basically, do service to make up for his transgressions. And the family just kind of forces it on him. He's like, "Fucking fine, I'll let it happen, fine." And by allowing himself to interact, he starts caring about this kid and tries to help him and help him be a better man and be a better dude, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he gets attached to him and his sister.
Yep.
And basically he learns about the fucking gang violence that they're subject to.
Yeah.
And he just has the realization, he's like, they will never be safe. They will never be free from this influence. Okay. And he has his last day and my favorite part leading up to it is he goes in for confession. And the priest who's been trying to get through to him as a request to his late wife is like, "Oh, fuck. What are you gonna do?" It's like, you would only come in for confession under duress. Because he's like, this is, And so Walt goes and just stands in front of the gangsters, like their stash house, basically. And just stands there, kind of menacingly. And has this very awkward, very kind of cryptic talk. And putting everybody on edge, like reaches his pocket for cigarettes, and people, kind of jumpy. And he's like, "God, why are you all so jumpy?" And he reaches in his jacket pocket and says, "You got a light?" "I've got a light." And with a flourish, pulls out a lighter, and they all assume he is packing.
The last time they saw him, he kind of was.
Yeah, the last time they saw him, he had a handgun. Like, he's got a concealed carry. And so he whips a lighter, and they lay him full of lead. They just absolutely execute him in the road.
Yeah. That man is dead. There is no.
Yeah, that man.
You don't need a fucking coroner.
That man is riddled with bullets, and he is unarmed, and everyone saw. So the police have every excuse to raid the house and arrest the gang.
Yeah.
which leaves Pao and Sue unaccosted.
Yay!
Yeah, like it is because Walt finally lets himself care about people and gives himself something to die for, because that is a way to fix that problem.
Yeah.
And he is done living in so many ways, and he knows it.
He's done with his family.
He's done with his family. He doesn't work anymore. He's got nothing going, and it's like, these are good kids. I can help them.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Black Hawk Down end at 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 33 seconds.
All right, next up. You know, I'm gonna change this around. So next up we have Black Hawk Down. So Black Hawk Down, a lot of heroic moments, but the one that kind of sticks with me is there is a helicopter protection scene where the Black Hawk that does in fact go down, that, you know, movie title,
What?
couple of badass, I think they're, what's the army's equivalent of like the SEALs?
Rangers.
Rangers?
Yes.
Okay. So the Army Rangers, a couple of them get dropped off, or they ask to get dropped off because they want to protect their guys. They
Yep.
want to protect the pilot. And they're like, dude, we can't extract you. This is going to be a dump and leave you for a while mission. They're like, understood, sir. They're like, okay. And they get in there. And those those boys, they're playing Call of Duty with cheat codes, just not the one where you can't die. And they also forgot the infinite ammo. But the aimbot is on like a fucking gong. They are just headshotting people left, right, and center. They are showing them what 2 fucking Rangers can do, and it's a lot of dead body. Sadly, bullets run dry. They're down to like pistols and knives, Butch. Like, it is rough. And turns out there is such thing as too many people to fight, and they go down, protecting their man, who then ends up making it out of there through a weird series of events. But the protection and the kind of last stand, just, it's awesome to see.
Spoilers for The Iron Giant end at 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 16 seconds.
All right, I have a banger from our childhood. Iron Giant is fucking, I would argue it's Vin Diesel's best role ever. I'll die on that hill.
Stay, I go, no following.
Yeah. And thanks to the fucking God, that movie is really so fucking good. Like, it really did everything so well, including having the absolute dipshit that is Mansley. Where's the giant, Mansley? we could duck and cover. Yeah, so fucking thanks to Mansley's stupidity, he has called a bomb in on a town to hit the giant.
That he's standing next to.
Yeah, well, that he's 6 feet away from. Yeah, I also love it. He tries to drive. Screw my country. I want to live. Bow. Make sure he stays there like a good soldier. But yeah, so there is an atomic bomb gonna hit the town in fucking like bumfuck Maine. And you know, air raid, siren sound, and the kind of telling part is that Hogarth's mom asks, like, where can we go? And he just goes, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, you're dead. Like, you have 2 minutes and you're not getting out of the blast radius. Bye. And so, yeah, I go, you stay, no following. And so instead of being a walking, talking arsenal, which it is, the giant decides to be sacrificial and protect the town, and flies his body at a nuke
As you do.
to just eat it in the atmosphere. It just, you are who you choose to be. Superman. Yeah, that's. God, that movie was really so good.
Banger. It was the director's first movie too, before he went on to Pixar.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's, Brad Bird.
Oh,
And that
really?
movie, it was underfunded. The amount of personnel they got versus like the other animated movies at the time was like fucking like a tenth. It was
Jesus.
a joke,
Still bangs.
and it was banger than the other projects that came out at the time, or at least comparable.
I was
Trying to remember the movies it was up against, or that like they were, because I think this was it Disney or DreamWorks, but I think it was. Oh man, I don't remember. It was one of the two, but it was the kind of like you've been a bad boy assignment. Like a lot of people got sent to it
oh, wow.
because they weren't like appreciated or whatever.
Wow.
So anyway, before we get on too much of a side diatribe,
Yep.
Spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy end at 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 43 seconds.
next up we've got another
His other greatest role.
other than caring about family, one thing Vin Diesel's really good at is saying very few words but giving off a lot of emotions. And in Guardians of the Galaxy, Groot does that with 4 letters most of the time.
Sorry, I love that he's the only person with a special script.
How do you mean?
So the script given to Vin Diesel just said like I am Groot. They basically just had like a column of what Groot is trying to say.
Oh, okay. So like what he's trying to impart through like different placing different
Exactly.
emphases on syllables and such.
Yeah, like
Nice.
so okay, you're trying to say you shouldn't be doing this. You get to say I am Groot. Make it plain.
Figure it out. You're
Yeah.
like, okay.
And like some of them were pretty complex and long too, apparently.
That's awesome. So Groot does the amazing of being the heart, soul, and little kid of the movie, even before he's the little kid of the next movie, and does what needs to be done in the final moments as they are, as in process of being big fucking heroes and saving the world. Somebody's gotta keep them safe, and in that moment, they are Groot.
We are Groot.
Yeah, what I said.
Listen, man, he doesn't have many letters. Don't try to add more.
But does it in this very loving and beautiful way of, kind of growing a tree root around the whole entire gang so they can not die as they ascend so many feet
They
in
fucking
so
crash.
little time. Yeah. And I do love that while everybody appreciates it, the one that it really affects and gets to show range is Rocket. Because that's his boy.
Yeah, for all the shit Rocket talks to him and calls him, and he's like panicking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his buddy.
All
All right, buddy. What you got next?
Spoilers for Rodrick, A Plague Tale end at 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 57 seconds.
So I will do them a little different how they're ordered. My second to last entry is Rodrick from A Plague's Tale: Innocence, the first one of that series. And Rodrick is this kind of burly, like blacksmith's apprentice you help save earlier in the game, and he ends up kind of staying at this castle with everyone else. And Rodrick is dope. He's like he is the fucking salt of the earth dude, and he's awesome. Like he's not complicated into politicking or any of the kind of higher brow shit. He's like, no, just shit's got to get done. And at one point, you are trying to chase down the little brother again because he got effectively abducted. And you are trying to get into a castle with a line of archers. So Rodrick goes, I got this. and he starts pushing a wagon as cover. The problem is he can't push it from the side. He has to stand behind it to properly push, which means he gets fucking riddled with arrows as he's going. And he keeps going like the absolute Chad that he fucking is. Like, God, it's so sad because you know it's happening and you can't stop it. And he, like, at one point, Louisa tries to help and he goes, "No, stay behind it." Like, he knows he's fucked. And he knows his job. But he has a job to do. Let him do it. Rodrick deserved better. I'm still not over it, apparently. God damn it. Dude is an absolute Chad. I love him. God damn it.
Another small batch of spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy ends at 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 32 seconds.
So my last entry for this episode, we're staying in the Guardians of the Galaxy, and we've got my favorite mohawk wearing blue motherfucker, Yondu. The actor also has played like multiple characters that have been at like this is kind of his
His
kind of his
typecast?
bag. So I think it's Michael Rooker, who has been in like everything that you see him in. Like if you go look up his like the things he's known for are Guardians of the Galaxy, and if memory is correct, The Walking Dead. Which I believe that's the other one that he was in. And he plays like the asshole brother of the main guy. Trying to look this up. He wasn't Merle Dixon. So he's trying to remember the other Dixon character. I can not remember. He's like the most famous part of the show. Daryl Dixon, played by Norman Reedus. There we go. But in that show, also kind of does a similar thing where very much is asshole, has a heart of gold, decides that he wants to make up for the bad things he's done by doing heroic sacrifice. But in this one, it's very fantastic. Realizes that he kind of screwed over Quinn and wants to like make up for how much he messed him over, and does the thing in the last moments where it's like, yeah, we've only got one oxygen pack and we're in space. So breathe up, kiddo. And gives the most banger ending line. It's a very good truism of like, might have been your dad. Or no, he might have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy.
Wasn't your daddy.
Yeah. Showing that very much family is who we are surrounded by, not necessarily who we are born to.
Yep.
Also, after coming up with the awesome line of, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. But to have him be so caring for somebody and kind of showing that, not like it's a good thing, but showing that it's when the metal meets the road, or the rubber meets the road, rather. You shouldn't have metal meeting the road. When the rubber meets the road, it's the person who is there with you at the end that's willing to do whatever that is the people that matter.
Spoilers for Avengers Endgame end at 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 15 seconds.
All right.
Close this out.
Sticking with the Marvel at the end here. We have to mention the end of the MCU's big culmination with Iron Man.
Which I kind of realized when looking at our list, he's done it twice. In the original Avengers, he does kind of the same thing.
Yeah. He sets himself up to die. And in Iron Man and in Endgame, there is no take backsies.
No takesies backsies.
Yeah. The kind of acknowledgement from the look between him and Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange just says one. And he just knows. Yeah. And so he rips the stones out and integrates them into his suit. Boom. I am Iron Man. And unlike the Hulk, he is not built to withstand that much radiation. Because other people can't hold stones. because they kill you. They're too much.
Because they fucking kill you.
Yeah, like people can't hold a stone, let alone 5.
Yeah, it takes a whole entire group, including a demigod, to hold a stone at the end of Guardians.
Yeah, like
That's one stone, and it nearly kills Peter Quill, who's half god.
yeah, and like I mean, Hulk can hold it because he's basically radiation immune, and it still fucks him up.
Yeah.
Like that is why Thanos is so ridiculously frightening. Is he can hold all 5, pretty casually.
I mean, the glove helps, but
the glove, the glove helps, but like he also just raw dogs a couple.
raw dog is random.
Yeah, like I mean, he just to punch Marvel in the face, he just rips the power stone out and hits her in the face with it. Like, okay, he casually does what a demigod can't do.
Yeah.
Like Thanos is terrifying. Yeah, and so Iron Man takes it knowing there is no coming back from this.
Yeah. I don't think this is gonna go well, but this is the way it's gotta go.
Boom. And just yeah.
Getting to end his storyline with the beginning of his storyline is fucking a work of genius.
Yeah.
Kudos.
I'm not happy to bring him back to be Dr.
Those
Doom.
are our picks for our favorite heroic sacrifices. Please, in the comments or via email or, on Twitter, let us know if you think we missed one or one that you like more. And while you think about that and realize that we were right, we're going to ship it to an ad break.
Have you wanted to take your kids to the movies, only for the movies to follow you home for weeks? Have you ever thought, I want to be incessantly humming the same 6 bars for days on end? Well, look no further than the animated children's movies. You'll surely be taken hostage by your 5-year-old as they repeatedly demand they have to see the new movie or they're gonna die. And then deal with them lamenting how they want all the merchandise that is suddenly everywhere. And not to mention the songs are going to follow you home too. With such studios as Disney and DreamWorks printing these things, you're bound to leave with an insidious and infectious earworm that you'll be humming. Oh, because your kids never stop singing that one darn song. You know which one it is. But hey, at least the creators know you're being forced and coerced by those ankle biters. And they throw in some jokes along the way that only you're going to understand.
Hey, you stuck around until after the ad break. Thank you very much. So, I'm going to pull a basic bitch move and recommend one of the movies that we talked about on here.
Fair enough.
I'm a big fan of Big Hero 6, and I would recommend y'all check it out if you haven't. It's so great. I think it does a lot with the kind of kids superhero niche where it doesn't, it builds a universe, but it doesn't continue it like this weird franchisey thing where they feel like they have to do with every character. It's kind of awesome just getting to see this, experience the story, love it, and then kind of move on.
Yeah.
What about you?
I will recommend something much less wholesome. So I recently went and saw the second Smile. If you're into that, it's pretty good. It's a lot more of what the first one was. Like,
did you like the first one? We've got more.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not perfect, but it knows what it wants to do, and it fits into that lane of like, oh, thanks, I hate it. Yeah, and it has some genuine fucking like unsettle. I hate this. Please no. Like my tiny spoiler. One of the crazy parts is the main character's trying to get out of her apartment, and she's like a pop star. And so she flicks the light on her walk-in closet, and her dance troupe is standing there all smiling at her. Yeah, and it does. She looks towards her door and looks back, and they've crept forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, thanks, I hate it. And then she runs out. She like runs out to her living room, and there's more people, so she can't look in every direction. And they just slowly enclose on her. It's like, yeah, all while having that signature psychotic smile. It's like, I hate it. God. It's a lot of that. Like, if you don't like it, you'll hate it. But if you're into it,
Well, before we get to our quip off, I've got a couple songs to recommend. What? A couple? Well, the first one's literally 30 seconds. In fact, Eli, you should listen to this right now, as the first one is Dirt Man by Carter Vale.
okay.
just I just want to hear your response to this one.
Okay. What? What? There's... What? The fact that there's someone also saying "what" in the song sums up perfectly how I feel.
This song is very silly and very fun and very short. I would highly recommend giving it a listen, as it only take you like 32 seconds.
It is a total of 35 seconds.
Yeah, it brings a very stupid smile on your face. Or at least did for me.
I'm so confused.
My actual recommendation for an actual song is Murdergram 2 or Part 2. I don't. It's if you look up LL Cool J, he just released an album called, I think it's called The Force. And it was really cool. I hadn't really heard much LL Cool J stuff because he had kind of stopped rapping by the time I got interested in rap.
Sure.
However, Eminem had always cited him as one of his major influences and kind of goats, which was really cool to see that Eminem got to be a feature on LL Cool J's recent kind of return to form. And so that aside, the flow of this song, if you're into that old school kind of flow speed rapping, as opposed to a lot of artists that it's still good, but it does kind of become a little bit more angry poetry than like lyricism, in the way a lot of people have rhymes where it's not, there's not a good as a good flow as it was seemed to be in the past for me. Some of my favorite artists do it and it's still fine, but like having like a nice flow where it's truly musicianship and it's got this nice speed and like bounce to it is awesome to see. And love seeing somebody kind of return to the craft after a decade away, when they were doing a CSI fucking off boot. So welcome back to the Forum, LL. Fucking ladies do truly love Cool James. FYI, that's what LL Cool J stands for.
Wow.
he came up with his own name, that ladies love Cool James. It's just awesome.
It's all right. You know what? That's a bit of false advertising I can get behind.
And to end our episode, as we always do now, what is our quip off going to be, mein Broskinkowski?
We are gonna do the classic of South Park.
Don't know how it took us so long, but we're here now. So
of all things we haven't touched, fair enough.
All right, so putting 2 minutes on the timer. 3, 2, 1, get after it.
Oh my God! They killed Kenny.
You bastards!
Boo, Wendy. Boo, Wendy Testerberger.
Respect my authority.
I'm sorry. What I meant to say, Mr. Garrison, was, how would you like to suck my balls?
Nah, that's Stevie Ray Vaughan. Steamy Ray Vaughan just shits her britches.
Well, get your AIDS test. Get yourself an AIDS test, dude, because your wife's a dude, faggot.
I'm not just sure. I'm HIV positive.
Kyle, it's the way the world works. If you want to find some quality friends, you got to wade through the dicks first.
Hello there, children.
Baby cake.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Chef, What would a priest want to stick up my butt?
Goodbye.
And what did you do with the internet back? Show my friend a dick, called him a fag.
Oh, Trey Fetty.
But yeah, to be honest, I'd rather be a crying little pussy than a faggy goth kid.
Do you like fish sticks?
Love them.
You're a gay fish.
I am not a gay fish. I don't have gills.
Drugs are bad, okay?
There's a time and a place for everything. It's called college. Hippies are everywhere. They want to save the earth, but all they do is smoke pot and smell bad.
Do you know what I am saying?
Kenny's family is so poor that yesterday they had to put their cardboard box up for a second mortgage.
Ah, hell, Dad. I got lots of girlfriends. Sally's just my bottom bitch.
Words cannot express how much I hate you guys.
Suck my dick, PC Principal.
How about we sing Cosmob's a Stupid Bitch in D minor? Well,
I don't trust anything that bleeds for 5 days and doesn't die.
I say you have some mighty fine slaves. I'll give you 30 for the whites and 50 for the blacks.
Oh, that was going to be my last one. Nice.
I'm sorry. College athletes.
Oh, and with that nearly throwing up of one lung, that is going to be our episode. So if you enjoyed this, please feel free to
Like,
comment,
share,
and subscribe.
but don't forget, new episodes of Super Pros Bros come out the first and third Saturday of every month. Bye.